What is up, Goat World? Arts and Crofts continuing to bring you some in-depth Goat format War League playoff content. If you recall, we are very deep into the final wildcard round here between R.I.C.O Act and Carbombnara. Carbombnara's andend Panda Burn player has been running through the R.I.C.O Act roster so far, 3-0 so far this round, and is ready to face the next challenger from the defending champions. So if we want to take a look at all the pairings and see how we got here, you can see Wave 1, we watched andend defeat Chaos Turbo stalwart Ivan R.I.C.O, whereas the other 5 players of Carbombnara did lose that round. So in the survival style playoff bracket, it's now up to andend to defeat the entire R.I.C.O Act starting roster in order to qualify Carbombnara for the quarterfinals of the playoffs. They got off to a solid start after that by defeating number 1 ranked player Moxies in Wave 2 on their patented warrior list. And then last video, if you caught that, they also defeated another Chaos Turbo player, Purple Drunk. So now, heading into Wave 4, 3 players for R.I.C.O to potentially pick from here to decide who's going to face off against andend for, attempting to defeat them once and for all. And they chose the 14th ranked MVP player ever here, also playing Chaos Turbo. So it should be a pretty good match here. Let's go take a look. Ooh, thank you, Dueling Book. So if you missed the last few videos, here's a little bit of a deck recap for andend it is Panda Burn teched for Chaos Turbo specifically, allowing them to running triple Gravekeeper Spy, which facilitates the 2 main deck mind controls, which are very key against Chaos Turbo. So going up against Ever here playing Chaos Turbo is kind of exactly what andend was expecting to see. Other than that, relatively standard Panda Burn stuff with the trios, the barrels, the desserts, Panda, Lily. They're playing double Giant Rat, which isn't always played in Panda Burn, but is a nice way to tutor out some of the other Earth monsters in the list. And Ever here, as mentioned, are playing relatively standard Chaos Turbo stuff here. They're on triple Spy, which likely will come out at least down to 1, maybe 0 post side against Panda Burn. They're playing some number of Night Assailants, which not every deck does, although it is pretty common. They're playing main deck Trap Dust Shoots, which probably come out post side as well. So, kind of as expected, not a list that is exactly prepped for the Panda Burn matchup, but definitely going to have some, likely good stuff coming in post side. So without any further ado, let's hop into the feature match here. Once again, all on the line here for Carbombnara. If andend wins, they will continue to, make their way through the rest of the R.I.C.O Act roster. 2 more players after Ever here. If Ever wins, then Carbombnara is defeated, eliminated from the playoffs, and R.I.C.O will move on to the quarterfinals. As always, I have randomized the positioning of these 2 players as to not spoil the outcome. But let's hop into it. Ooh, that's really loud. Looks like andend won that rock, paper, scissors. Not too bad. Going to be going first here. And they are going to lead out with a good old set monster with a bunch of back row behind it. Not a bad start for a Panda Burn duelist. Get your back row rocking already. Generally not a very monster heavy deck, so good to just have some normal summons, but then primarily back row around to support it. Fearless here. Let's see any Trinity opening. We got Upstart Goblin, thin the deck a little bit. Not too crazy. We're going to go normal summon Tribe Infecting Virus, set a couple back row to play around potential Desk Koala or Morphing Jar, which we do know andend is at least playing Morphing Jar somewhere in the 55. I would have to assume it's in the main deck. I've just never seen it played in Game 1 at all so far this wildcard round. Tribe is going to go crash into this set monster, and it is a Gravekeeper Spy, so Fearless here doing their prep. They know that andend is on triple Spy main deck. Tribe Infecting Virus, one of the best counters in the game to Gravekeeper Spy. So calling them out here. Both spies will hit the field, and then main phase 2 likely we'll see Tribe Effect, Calling Spellcaster, killing both of the spies. Ooh, but in the end of battle phase, andend smartly is going to go ahead and use Ring of Destruction on the Tribe, protecting their spies from the Tribe Effect. So really nice play there out of andend. Fearless catching these spies, sitting ducks, but andend had the defensive trap to protect them. Not too bad, and a little bit of burn damage to boot as well. Can't complain about that for sure. Ooh, we do get main phase 2 Snatch Steal, though. That's pretty interesting. Snatching a defense mode spy after having already used your normal summon. I guess the idea is You just don't want to give andend the ability to start beating in for 2400 damage a turn with Spy, which to me signifies that Ever likely does not have any sort of like defensive back row set here. Probably no Mirror Force, maybe not even Ring or anything like that. And this is just going to be a stalemate with andend gaining 1,000 life per turn from the Snatch Steal. But I guess Ever decided or figured that this was worth it to protect their own life points, even if andend will be gaining some. Let's see if this gambit will work out. And I'm going to go set another monster, add a back row, nothing crazy. Spy walls doing their thing. Fearless, do you have a way to out your own Snatch Shield Spy now? We're going to Jar Greed, try to dig into something. Okay. And set a monster pass. Okay, so we just snatched the Spy for defensive purposes, but the longer this sits around, the harder and harder it's going to be for Fearless to win. Or I'm going to call them Fearless sometimes because classic Discord name being different than the Dueling Book name, bane of my existence, right, guys? But Ever here deciding to go for the Snatch Seal play, but andend is just going to be really happy about this. You know, the stall, putting the stall and stall burn here with this Gravekeeper Spy and just kind of chilling. Forgot to gain the 1,000. Okay, there we go. Not bad. Gonna add another set monster, back row pass. So notably not flipping this one up. Could very well be that third Gravekeeper Spy, perhaps. Interesting to see what it might be. We're going to get Standby Phase Ojama Trio here, so Fearless Ever is now trio locked. So andend, once again, continuing to improve their position. They're gaining a bunch of life every turn from the Snatch Steal. You've locked your opponent out of playing anything. It's really going to be determining or decided by whatever this face down is kind of the way I feel at this point in time. Let's see, Ever is just going to go set a back row. We're going to go Spy, crash into the new back row, or the new set monster. Considering this one didn't flip up, you're probably not super worried about what it is, but this one could be like a Cyber Jar or something, which would be a little bit scary. It is that Morphing Jar. Okay, so confirmed andend is playing main deck Morphing Jar as expected, and this is a really, really solid win for andend here. Going to be able to draw 5 brand new cards. Ever will only be able to draw 2, so a nice little +3 here for andend. Pretty solid. And notably, this Spy with the Snatch Shield is still around, so I have to imagine andend's going to take this game 1. Jars resolving for the burn player is, you know, Christmas for them, right? So, going to be pretty tough for Ever to clear to close this one out from this position with just stalemated board as well and being trio locked. Just not looking really good. Main phase 2, we're going to go pitch a Thunder Dragon in the deck, grab a couple, or I guess just grab one. So they drew to add insult to injury, they drew double Thunder Dragon off of the Morphing Jar. I guess maybe they didn't have to. They could have just searched for one in case you wanted to, you know, play around 200 damage from Secret Barrel. However, the fact that they're going for a Tribute Summon here right now makes me think that they did just, in fact, draw the double Thunder Dragon off of that Morphing Jar, which is not so great. It was already really good for andend. That's going to make it even better. They at least finally out their own Snatch Steal here, so andend won't continue to gain life. But the damage is kind of already done for the most part, and the board is still in a stalemate here. Andend doesn't even need, I've talked about this in previous videos, but Spy is so good in burn decks because it basically just acts like another floodgate, right? How many times you watched like Chaos Turbo Mirrors where people just stall out behind Spies for turns at a time? Well, that's exactly what burn decks want to do, right? And so even if they don't find their level limits or their gravity binds, things like that, sometimes the Spy will just stick around in defense position and be an absolute nuisance, like we're seeing here. So andend really happy about this. We're going to get a Trap Dust Shoot Resolution from Fearless, which will give us a little peek into both players' hands. So Fearless has, yeah, the expected Thunder Dragon, also a knock with a target, which they chose not to use, which I guess makes sense because andend never flipped it face up, so you're probably not worried about what it is. And then a Dekoichi here that is unplayable at the time being because they are trio locked, so not really too much going on here forever. Andend's hand is pretty solid. Looks like they just drew a Graceful Charity for turn. Heavy Storm in case they want to get aggressive. They've got Panda, which is really nice into a trio locked board, so I have to assume that will be the card stolen away here by the Trap Dust Shoot, because Rat and Lily don't really do too much against these trio locked boards for the most part, so I would just pick the Panda here. Yeah, and that's what we will see. Nice choice. And then you know your opponent has Heavy, I guess, is like the one bit of intel that actually kind of matters here. Might not even matter though, because Anna's just going to go ahead and fire off this Graceful Charity. Honestly, you probably just want to find another panda, right? Going to discard the known Giant Rat and the known Jar of Greed. So, Graceful Charity, not only is it just an amazing card in and of itself, playing blind, but especially post Trap Dust Shoot, now you've gotten rid of 2 of the known cards, making the Dust Shoot resolution that much worse. And then here's going to fire off that Mind Control that we know that they play multiple copies of in the main deck. They know that this center one is definitely, 99% of the time going to be Thunder Dragon. So this other one is an actual potential threat. And it looks like they stole a Sangan. Okay, so andend taking a little bit of the bait there. And just going to flip that Sangan face up. Sure. And then set a monster, set a back row pass. Could be the Lily that we know is in hand, but also could be something new that they found off of that Graceful Charity. Notably, Fearless kind of forced to tribute summon over that Snatch Shield Gravekeeper Spy to prevent the Snatch Shield life gain, when in a perfect world you would love to just be tribute summoning over these Sangans, right, to get the search off. But I guess they can just do that on their own turn, since they have the second Thunder Dragon in hand, if they so choose. Sangan will return in the end phase. Fearless here going to draw for turn. Will we see that tribute for Thunder Dragon play? We're going to Jar of Greed first. Something like a Heavy Storm would be really, really nice to find, of course, at this point in time. We're going to fire up this Nolan of Crossout on the new set monster, which was unknown. But, and then, ooh, we're going to get the Chain Desert Sunlight. So a little counter to knock there, going to force this flip effect through if it is one, or just going to protect it. It is a Cyber Jar, okay, so, and then getting double jar resolution here. As the Burn player, I don't think I've ever seen a Burn player resolve both jars and lose, so this is probably lights out. Ooh, and their other set monster was Sangan. Okay, so they're going to get a nice little Sangan search off of this Cyber Jar as well. Things are about to get really interesting, though, because the board will be wiped. Fearless is going to take 900 from these trio tokens. And besides that, things are looking... You're going to get a nice refill in the hand here. Fearless finds some good stuff. You find double Trinity, but no monsters, notably, so not going to be able to, get super aggressive here right now. But can fire up with this Trinity pieces at least. Andend finds Rat and Panda. Not too bad, so those will get summoned out right now. And then they get to load up on another copy of Trio, plus a couple burn cards, just to get a critical mass of stuff here. It's been a while since Andend has dealt a lot of damage to Ever, though. So, despite them really churning through the deck here with all these jars, they haven't really found too much direct damage just yet. Ever should be taking 900 from the trio tokens, though. Everyone has a million cards in hand. Love to see it. Sangan's going to grab Serpent, just in case you needed another card. And then Andend will go ahead and set the Panda and set the Giant Rat. Yeah. Ever will fire off Pot of Greed here. Oh, and then Sangan Search will grab another copy of Panda, so lots of those. Ever will resolve Pot of Greed. Okay, yep. Catching that 900, of course. Fire off the second Trinity piece. Both players have so low on cards in deck. Look, this is an absurd hand. Yeah, discard the Sinister Serpent to get a +1. Gonna make the difference there, and then discard the last Thunder Dragon. Good Graceful Charity discards in a vacuum. Doesn't really matter when you have a 20 card hand or whatever this is. We're gonna go normal summon to Koichi, and then try and, I guess, what is the play here? Do we want to crash with the Giant Rat and then ring it or something? Yeah, because both Rat and Panda, neither of them lose to this Koichi, but maybe Ever is trying to go for a Snatch Steal play or something. No, we already know they have Snatch Steal. So we're flipping it up to go for a Chaos Monster to go and banish it. That's pretty cute. Get the Sork out of hand. You got to play some cards here, even if it's not the most optimal time, because it's better than just discarding them to hand size, of course. And then we're going to set a million back row, get down to exactly 6 cards. Not bad. Kind of, establishing a decent board presence here. That you are, of course, losing the life point battle, but we'll see if Andend can kind of craft something here. We're going to fire off a Secret Barrel for 2,400 points of damage. That is quite nice. We know they got Ojama Trio and another one of those where it's coming. Trap Dust Shoot going to be fired off here. We do know that Ever plays multiple of those in the main deck. Once again, Panda as a nice target to strip away here. Could also go for that Lily that's been chilling in hand for a while. You also see Trio, Just Dessert, Secret Barrel, which I think these 3 cards on their own are enough to just win the game, so I'm not really sure if Fearless has a path to win at this point. It was pretty much close to over after the first jar resolved, but the second one is definitely kind of the nail in the coffin. But I respect playing it out, of course. I guess you probably just send back the Lily because it can kill your Sork, maybe? Don't think it really matters too much. We see Ever's hand is filled with monsters. Not exactly what you want against Burn. You want your back row removal. You did find an MST, but I think this is going to be too little too late. Interesting that you're not setting the MST last turn. I feel like you probably want to do that to snipe some back row in the end phase, but maybe it doesn't matter. I guess you know the opponent has Heavy Storm, so maybe that's why you're not playing it. Interesting, though. Could have gone either way, and like I said, at this point, I don't think it really matters too much. Send back the Lily, sure. I think that's fine. Probably slightly better than sending back the Panda here. Fire off the Heavy Storm. Ever's going to go Raigeki break their own Dekoichi to power down the Panda that we know is in Andend's hand. So using that, using the Dust Shoot Knowledge to decent effect, and then we'll chain Jar of Greed, and then the Heavy Storm resolves, wiping the board, and Andend can just, have their way at this point in time. Just going to set a bunch of back row, set it for the trio plus Just Desserts plus Secret Barrel play, and it's probably just going to be GG. Barrel, chain barrel, and there you go. Game 1 over here to Andend. So the Carbombnara hopes are once again alive here. And then taking down game 1, kind of according to script, right? If Burn loses game 1 against Turbo, there's almost no chance that they win the whole set. Once Turbo starts bringing in their side deck hate cards. So going according to plan here for Andend. Yeah, definitely the flag, the torchbearer, the flag carrier, whatever you want to call them here for Carbombnara in the playoffs. And so far they are once again in a decent spot to continue to make defending champions R.I.C.O act sweat a little bit here. We will go to game 2. Ever will be able to go first on this Chaos Turbo list. We'll see if they have any interesting side deck tech that we haven't seen in the prep. Gonna open Graceful Charity. That's just always good. And we're going to discard Night Assailant plus Dekoichi, so already going +1 here off the Graceful with the Night Assailant plus Flip Monster combo. Going to be really happy about that, and having that Dekoichi in hand is going to be really nice. Very strong card against Burn. Both a nice clock on its own, and it helps you dig through the deck to get to your hate pieces. I'm going to go set a monster, set a back row, activate Thunder Dragon, thin the deck even further, this time not having double TD in hand, which definitely didn't help them out last game. And we'll get to pass turn, already up like a card and a half here. And is going to go fire off that Mind Control. Odds are it's that Dekoichi that we know about. And it, in fact, is. So Andend stealing that flip effect for themselves. Going to draw a little bit further into the deck. Getting lots of mileage out of this Mind Control. Or these Mind Controls, I should say, so far in the playoffs. Giant Shrunag we used here just to bounce the single card. So maybe setting up for like a Lily play here. Yeah, we're going to beat in for 3,400 points of damage. That is quite a lot. And Ever is suddenly already pretty far down in LP. Lily is, of course, one of the best offensive cards in the format. So anyway, might look silly trunating just a single back row away. But if you can guarantee an Injection Fairy Lily hit in, especially as a Burn player, it's generally going to be worth it. And you get to capitalize. Not only did the Mind Control, allow you to steal the flip effect use from this Dekoichi, it also moved the monster out of the way so that this Lily could get in for damage. So getting, bonus value out of that Mind Con, which is pretty nice. The life point game. Lily is quite scary now that it's still on the board. See if they can come back from this, or if it'll just be a quick 2-0 here for Andend. Heavy Storm is a nice draw against Burn. Andend is forced to... Okay, so they do actually have 2 chainables, though, so not the best Heavy Storm you'll ever see, but once again, maybe clearing the back row here for a similar sort of play that we saw last turn. Snatch Steal on the Lily could be interesting. But we're going to get Trio here, fill up the board, -1 space, and then Just Desserts will resolve for 2,000 damage. So Andend is getting a lot of value out of their cards so far here. They are pretty low on gas at this point in time, but they do still have the Lily on board, so that is a major threat that Ever's going to have to worry about, and they're already down to 2,600 life points, which is kind of scary. Ooh, that's pretty big, though. Tribe Infecting Virus here with the Thunder Dragon as discard fodder in hand. We'll be able to clear out all of those trio tokens prevent the lock from coming down. They will take 900 points of damage, dropping to 1700 on like turn 2. This is one of the fastest Panda Burn. Just like the amount of damage they put out over the span of 2 turns has been pretty insane. But Fearless does have some heavy hitters here of their own. They've had the Graceful, they got Heavy Storm, they got Tribe. We're going to go Thunder Dragon discard for the Tribe here, calling Spellcaster to kill this Lily as well. Clear the way for 3,000 points of damage, and that is actually a 2-turn clock. So this might actually just be a really, really fast game. Either Ever is just going to die to a couple stray burn cards, or they're just going to kill andend with a 2-turn clock from a couple weenies here, thanks to the 2,000 damage taken from that Lily. So really, really quick game 2 here so far. Unless andend can find like a gravity bind or something and grind this thing to a halt, we might just go either just call it quits here or go to a game 3. Andend here does set a monster. Spy, of course, would wall out here, but does kind of lose to Tribe, of course. Raigeki Break. Discarding Raigeki Break, pop that, and this is just GG, right? There you go. Clear out the set monster. And that's going to be a really quick game, too, there forever. So took a bunch of damage really quickly and then got off to a very aggressive start here with this Injection Fairy Lily. But apparently Dekoichi and Tribe are just, some crazy powerful beatdown monsters. And they're just going to 2-turn clock andend here. And Ever, without even really seeing any crazy side deck tech, just going to take it down, relatively quickly there. Definitely still a close game. But we will head on to game 3. Tournament life here for not only just andend, but the entire Carbombnara organization. They will be able to go first here in game 3, but it is post-side against Turbo. So anyone's game here. I'm going to be really interested to see if andend can pull it out for the team once again, or if Ever will finally, stick the final nail in the coffin here of Carbombnara's playoff hopes. And then here we are going to normal summon Gyakugire Panda. Set several back row behind it. Got to assume that one of those is like an Ojama Trio. Get a nice little battle trick to power up its attack points. On its own, 800 attack, not the scariest thing, but it can get very big very quickly. And Ever is staring down a lot of back row, which is always scary against Burn. See what they can do here. Heavy Storm would be nice, of course. We're going to get Standby Phase Ojama Trio. So yeah, kind of as expected there. Using it a little bit early, but I guess trying to just establish it on the board and make their Panda a little bit bigger. All right. We're going to go Ring of Destruction on a single... I see what they're doing. Okay, so we're going to go Trio here in Standby Phase. Fill up 3 spots on the board. Then we can Ring of Destruction, one of the tokens, dealing 300 damage to Ever, but then freeing up the 3rd open space to resolve a second Ojama Trio. Fully trio locking Ever here seems to be the play. And that is pretty nice, especially when your opening play was a Gyakugire Panda. Now it's at full attack here, and Ever cannot play a monster right now. This is pretty funny to see this early on. Little combo there, Trio, Ring, Trio. You don't see that every day. But Ever is now one with the Ojama here. Board completely filled with those, and just not really going to be able to do too much. Going to go fire up that Thunder Dragon, set a couple back row pass, and then I guess just hope that... you could always Ring or Raigeki Break one of the tokens to free up a space. Probably better option would be to remove this Panda ASAP before it can just hit you for 1,000,000 damage, but we'll see what options are available to Ever here. And then gonna go summon another Panda. Pretty good. Both at maximum power, for the time being, of course. Get in for a ton of damage. Ooh, we got the Sakuretsu armor coming out of the side deck here forever. Not bad. So 1 Panda dealt with. Do you have a second Saku, though? Or will the second Panda connect for maximum damage? It will, and that is a lot of damage coming through. 2,600 points. The piercing damage from the 33 attack 100 Panda, plus the 300 from the Trio token dying. That's a nice big hit, and andend is threatening to do it again next turn, with still 4 monsters on the board. So looking good for our Burn player if this Panda is allowed to survive. Fearless, though, finally has an open monster zone for the first time this game, so could actually, commit something to the board here and start to establish a presence of their own. They're going to go Jar of Greed into just set a couple back row pass, maybe looking for another Sakuretsu armor or something, but this Panda is once again threatening. Going to go attack one of those tokens again. Oh, and Ever is just going to take it, so no battle traps. That is 2,100 points of damage. They drop all the way down to 3k with still these 3 tokens left around. And these pandas are putting in work. Had the 2, so one could eat a Sakuretsu armor, clearing the way for the second one to get in. And this is just a nice little clock here. Not to mention all the potential burn stuff Andend could have. So looking pretty good for our burn player. Ever here kind of forced to Dust Tornado this in the end phase. Generally, you want to save these for the battle floodgates, but when you're so low on life, sometimes you just need to fire them off just to make sure that they don't have lethal damage set back there. And they do manage to hit a secret barrel. Okay, so yeah, nice play there, recognizing that they're low enough on life that it's time to just start sniping things willy-nilly. And they get rewarded by hitting something that would have dealt a good chunk of damage to them. Ever here does have several cards to their name, and now has 2 open spots on the board. No Chaos Live, so hard to pump out 2 monsters in the same turn. Gonna go Tribe Infected Virus, though, so just like last game, gonna be pretty nice here. And you get to kill 2 birds with 1 stone here, because Trio tokens and Gyakugure Panda are all beasts. This is one of the weaknesses of the burn list, is they play a lot of beast monsters, and the trio tokens themselves are beasts, so it is oftentimes very, very vulnerable to Tribe Infecting Virus. Ever here, even if Panda wasn't a beast, they would likely be able to clear out the whole board. But now they get to do both at the same time for the price of 1 card. Looks like Endend's thinking on summon here. We're going to Solemn Judgment the Tribe. Yeah, really, really strong monster in this exact scenario, so I do not blame Andend for solemning that. They will take a whopping 4,000 damage to do so, but that tribe was going to ruin your day, so I feel like it was kind of forced. Ever will just set a back row, having already used their normal summon, and this Panda, once again, will live to see another day, can try and attack in for some damage, unless Ever has another Saku or something. I'm going to just attack in again. More damage here to Ever. Wow. This Panda's just doing so much work, slowly eating away at these trio tokens. And Ever is once again down to such slim life points. Holy. Gonna go set a monster, set a back row pass. Could always try and refill the hand with a little bit of jar action here. Ever once again forced to pop the back row in the end phase to protect their life points. And they hit a Just Desserts here. Oh man, so 2 really nice snipes there. Just Tornado on a Secret Barrel, MST on a Just Desserts to keep themselves in this game. And now if they can out this Panda, they might be in a decent spot. We've got a Bluff Set Nobleman of Crossout to deal with the set monster. It was a Lily. Interesting play. I mean, I get you're not going to be spending 2k to attack over a trio token, so setting it seems fine there. I guess it makes your future draws of flip monsters a little bit better. Let's see what Ever can do to follow this up. We have Graceful Charity to dig a little bit further into the list. Let's see, we're going to discard Thunder Dragon and a Chaos Sorcerer, so notably getting a Dark Engrave to turn Chaos on. BLS would be pretty nice right about now, not going to lie. And right on cue, there he is. Is Ever going to turn this one around? BLS down, and Breaker the Magical Warrior. Is this lethal? The Panda is quite large, but it's not 3,000 attack large. And yeah, so it's just going to be BLS over Panda, BLS attack directly, and then Breaker for game. Wow, so Ever here, back-to-back games, sub 2k life points, I believe, against a burn player who is getting nice and aggressive with the Pandas and the Lilies, but is going to be able to close it out both games just by mustering up more offense than the Panda burn player. Really, really well played here from Ever. At no point, I mean, did get sold out for a little bit here by this trio and stuff, but was able to fight their way through it despite taking several Panda hits, and that is going to be a reverse sweep here, Ever taking it down with Chaos Turbo against Andend on Panda Burn, 2-1. This will eliminate Carbombnara from the playoffs. GG's to them, and then really fought their heart out here. The three wins in a row was pretty fun to see, but could not get the 4th. But better, good luck to them next year, of course. And now R.I.C.O Act will advance over into the final spot in the quarterfinals. So let's have some fun here. Let's populate my spreadsheet live on camera. Andend has been eliminated. Ever wins that for them. And now in real time, Carbombnara eliminated. Bam. R.I.C.O Act, the 6th seed, moving on to the quarterfinals. And now we have our bracket ready to go. So Bads, who we watched sweep 400s several videos ago, is now locked in as the 8th seed against top seed Bug Catchers. That'll be a fun one to watch. Damage set versus Masters of Oz has been set already. R.I.C.O has won, so they will be the 6th seed here up against Bomb Squad. And then that will bump Team Nemesis down to the 7th seed, who will face 2nd seed, the Bones Generation. So our quarterfinals are locked here. Definitely in the next coming days, we'll love to do some feature matches for these, some more team profiles now that we have some new faces. So definitely stick around for the rest of the coverage of the GOAT format. War League Season 6 playoffs. This has been really fun to do so far. Hope you all have enjoyed it. Let me know what you think about this video down in the comments, and I will catch you all next time.